We're now going to have our international speech contest. And the speaking order is Jaleh Signon, speaker number 1. And Karen Coven, speaker number 2. Jaleh, speaker number 1, Karen, speaker number 2. May we have 1 minute on the clock, please?
Time.
Thank you. Jaleh Signon, friendship. Friendship, Jaleh Signon.
How would be my life if I didn't have any friends? How would be my life if I remove all the friends from my life? Fellow Toastmaster, I ask you, please close your eyes. Close your eyes. And for a second, think. How would be your life without your friends? Now open your eyes. I don't know what your answer was. My answer was, my life would be meaningless, boring, and empty. During COVID, all of us had food on the table. But we felt a hunger. And that was hunger of human interaction, human affection. During first months of COVID, I was unhappy. I was trying to adjust with new schedule. I had to work from home. Depressed. One morning, I saw the sun is out, the weather is nice, and I wanted to make my life, my day better. I opened the door. When I opened the door, I found a bag, beautiful bag, full of fresh oranges with a note. The note was this, and it said, "Dearest Jaleh, Mom and Dad, we pray all in your family are well and remember you in our daily thoughts and prayer. Miss you all very much. Beverly, Farsa, Arash, and Ari." And it had a prayer, and it had the beautiful flowers. It made my day. It warmed my heart. It is so dear to me that I keep it to this day. That was the moment I really understood and felt the real meaning of what Mother Teresa said. The hunger for love is much more difficult than the hunger for love is much more difficult to remove than the hunger for bread. The power of friendship is not just for human. It is important for any living beings. If you don't believe me, let me share with you a story. There was an orangutan whose parents died, and he was so depressed that he refused to eat anything. The zookeepers were worried, and of course, they took to veterinarians. But he didn't respond to any medical treatment. They were worried that soon he would die. At the same time, the zookeepers found a dog in a park that was sick. Of course, they rescued him, they took to veterinarian, and they took to the same zoo. The two isolated souls found each other. They became friends, and their lives changed since then. They were really of each other's company. And not only they ate well, they recovered, but they had fun. In Northern California, where swimming is the pastime, swim, his friend helped me. And they were happy forever. Dear fellow Toastmaster, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I invite you to do something very special. This didn't cost any money, but no money can buy it. I invite you to do something special for your friend, for your dear one. It might cost you just a minute, an hour, but it can stay in his or her memory for lifetime, last forever. Happy Valentine's Day!
Timers, may I have 1 minute on the clock?
Fine.
Karen Hoban, the final chapter. The final chapter, Karen Coben.
Thank you, Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and our many honored guests. I am willing to bet that every one of you, at one time or another, have been tooling along down the highway in your car, thinking about work or dinner, and a song came on and completely transported you to another time, to another place. One day that happened to me and it surprised me how far back I went. Back to a time when my kiddos were little pumpkins and I was happily married. A time before a divorce, a time before the pain and sorrow. My husband, Danny, had gotten awarded a sales conference in Carmel, California, nearly a week long. My parents watched the kids. We took off for a week of pampering. He played Pebble Beach. I went shopping with the wives. It doesn't get any better. We beached, we drank, we had wine and cheese parties. The final night was a country and Western dance. I think they did that instead of a ball, so we wouldn't have to buy ball gowns. So we went out and got our Western shirts with the applique and the matching cuffs and the piping and the jeans and the quintessential hat. We were so ready to go country and Western dancing, but we were Chicago kids. We were city kids. And this is a long time ago. We had never heard of the two-step. We got out on that dance floor and the dancers were down dancing on top of us. And we're trying to figure this out. They were literally dancing on top of us. We started moving farther and farther to the perimeter of the dance floor to try and get away, try to figure it out. And we were just about exhausted, just about ready to quit. When suddenly, the right song and the music muse fell in. Dance in the kitchen till the morning light, Louisiana Saturday night. Magic. We glided across the floor, forget Fred and Ginger. We were more like maybe Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. At the end of the dance, we were so wowed by the experience. We looked at each other and we went in for this big kiss. Our cowboy hats bumped. Our heads went back, grabbing our hats, laughing. It was a moment. The next morning at the end ceremonies of this whole spectacular week, there was a montage of pictures on this bigger than life screen. And there we were, holding each other, heads blown back, laughing. And the whole room went, "Aw," like we were YouTube kittens. I had just set aside all those old memories. I never thought of him. I worked and cultivated forgiveness. I moved into peace. I exiled those memories and certainly never thought of him with joy. And suddenly there was this memory. And it was very moving. That night, when I went home, I decided to sit down and I'm going to write. Well, when I wrote, my hand wrote. It was like a mechanical arm, an automaton. It wrote the poem. The first time I saw it was the first time I read it. I have never changed a word. The final chapter. It was a love letter from my heart to his. To me, you'll always be 20, vibrant and funny, with an edge for injustice and what's right. I remember rain walking and long summer talking, and the fights that took over our life. I learned to forgive you, to gradually untangle from you, and hold the rest without strife. I want you to know, I'll never forget you. I'll never regret you. Surprisingly, I'm glad I was your wife. We went from love to matrimony to acrimony to a long span of working on forgiveness, to peace. I thought peace was the highest level. And yet I found we can transform to love. We all carry every relationship we've ever had in our lives. The bad and the good relationships and the good and the bad relationship. I want you to know that we can transform that to love. Because love is the final chapter.
Owner's manual.